Roses are red, violets are blue, but the iris is the flower that will mean the end of it.
Hey gang, do you like reality shows based off children in the dance industry? Of course you don't. It's the year 2021. You're appalled and disgusted by them. Well then, have I got a film for you. Suspiria is a 1977 Italian surrealist horror film written and directed by Dario Argento. The film centers around Susie Banyan, an American exchange student selected to dance at the prestigious Tanz Academy in Germany. But it turns out the dance industry is evil! And it's run by witches. Students as well as faculty start dying, and it's up to Susie to single-handedly uncover the mystery of the school. Well, I mean, it's up to Susie's friend Sarah to do it. Susie just kind of sits there and has the plot happen to her the entire movie. That's not the important thing. Dario Argento said about the making of Suspiria, "We are trying to reproduce the color of Walt Disney's Snow White. It has been said from the beginning that Technicolor lacked subdued shades and was without nuances, like cutout cartoons. Basically, he wanted to make a scary version of Snow White, with bright, vibrant colors that you don't normally associate with the horror genre. There were only a couple setbacks at the beginning of production aiming to stop that from happening. One is that the script was originally written for 10 to 12-year-old girls, but the film's producers weren't ready to deal with the backlash they would have received in 1977 over such an issue, so they changed the ages of all the actresses to late teens and early 20s. The only problem with this is they kept the original script the same, so you have most of the cast running around talking and acting like people that are half their age, which could be a point in the film's favor, or a point against it. It just depends on how you look at that. With the Italian prog rock band Goblin doing most of the film's score. You know, the guys who did this film. Suspiria became Argento's highest grossing film in the United States, gathering somewhat of a cult following over the years. It's got witches, it's got stitches, it's got rich Eldritchian bitches, it's Suspiria. Na, 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 So, remember that one part of Wizard of Oz where Dorothy steps out of her house and sees color for the first time and goes, "Wow, Toto, we're on the rainbow." Just imagine that, but turn it into a slasher film, and that's Suspiria. So we open up with our main character Susie exiting the airport to head to her new dance academy. It may seem like the lighting here is unnaturally colorful for an airport, but that's just what the 70s looked like. Anyway, it's the 70s, it's an airport, it's Suspiria, so here's the soundtrack. I mean, here's the soundtrack. The soundtrack? So as you may have picked up on in the first 5 seconds of the movie, they play this theme for just about any mundane thing in the movie. Catching a cab in the rain. Hope you can afford the fare.
Can you give me a hand?
I can give you 2, and keep them both on the wheel. Hurry the fuck up. So it looks like it's off to the dance academy. Fortunately for Susie, she gets some foreshadowing from the soundtrack as to what she'll be facing in this movie. What? Sounded like they said witch right there. Imagine if other horror soundtracks did that. Dracula! His name is Dracula. So Susie arrives at the dance academy, where she comes across one of the students, fleeing the scene for some reason. Unfortunately, despite the storm, Susie's having a bit of trouble gaining access.
I don't know you. Go away. Look, it's really raining hard. You could just let me in and I'll explain. Go away. Go away.
Why does not knowing her cause you to refuse letting her in? Do you know everybody in the school personally? Who is that? The cab driver? Don't know him either, go away. So Susie goes away, but on the way back to her hotel, she spots something curious running through the woods. You think you should maybe stop the cab and help her? Damn tweaking hippies. We're then introduced to Salvador Dali's dollhouse. I mean, a completely normal hotel. While we follow the young tweaker back to her friend's place.
So what if you've been thrown out of school? I always got kicked out of school, beginning in kindergarten.
Damn, how do you get kicked out of kindergarten? All the other kids were doing A's, but I was doing O's. Anyway, in order to calm herself down, the tweaker, whose name is Pat, which I forgot, decides to take a shower.
Hey, Hey, why don't you close it?
And she got in that room fast. What was she hovering outside the door listening to her shower?
The windows burst open. I got scared.
I know, I saw the whole thing from your keyhole. So Pat's friend, who doesn't have a name, decides to go back to being a peeping Tom, when suddenly some tribal drums kick in. They're really effective at building tension. That is, until you realize they're just the backing track to Limp Bizkit's Rollin'. Rollin', 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 open up your mind. When suddenly, Pat spies something in the window. Wow, it's the experience of being woken up at 4 in the morning by your cat. Huh, guess she's more of a dog person. Lady? This is a pull door. The movie does a cool thing where it tries to throw off your sense of perspective by having her teleport from outside her bathroom window straight to the roof. The killer does a thorough job of finishing her off by stabbing her in the chest. And then stabbing her in the chest. And then stabbing her in the chest. How is she still alive right now? Damn, just can't seem to get those pesky vital organs. Okay, now that her heart's literally right in front of his face, there's no way he can miss it. Eventually, he just gives up and hangs her.
He didn't make it.
So Pat's nice and dead, as well as her peeping Tom friend. At least I'm pretty sure she's dead. I mean, just because she's got some timber and glass inside of her doesn't mean she's dead. According to this movie, she still has enough time to learn to river dance and do her taxes. Actually, I think she's still breathing in that shot. The movie then goes back to following Susie, who's gone back to the dance academy to meet the faculty.
I did arrive last night about 10 o'clock, but the door was locked, and somebody on the call box said they didn't know who I was and couldn't let me in.
Who said that to you?
I don't know. She didn't know either. Nobody knew each other. It was very confusing. Can I go back to America? Unfortunately, there's a little bit of a housing situation when it comes to Susie.
What I wanted to tell you is that your room here isn't free.
Just a slight hitch.
Yes, but don't worry. We've already found you a place to stay with one of our third-year students who lives in town. You'll have to pay 50 of your American dollars a week.
$50 a week? It's almost nothing. Man, I want to live in Germitalia.
This is Pavlos, our general handy. He's really ugly, isn't he? Don't be afraid to say so. Can't understand you anyway. He speaks only Romanian.
Besides, we're speaking dubbed English in an Italian art film about a school in Germany. I'm surprised we don't sound like that country bumpkin from Hot Fuzz. All the sets in this movie look like a child's playhouse, which fits with the whole Snow White on acid motif. It gives the impression that something isn't quite right here.
Hurry up, everybody. I'll be waiting for all of you in the red room.
Unfortunately, since this is an overpriced art institution, they don't have any shoes available for Susie either.
Can anybody lend me a pair of shoes?
Yes, me. If you want to buy them, I can make you a nice price. 50 marks.
Man, is everything $50 in this country? Rent for room? $50. Cost of dancing shoes? $50. That face you make when you realize you've been living next to a coven of witches for months on end? Priceless.
Okay, go ahead. Take them.
It's a good thing all women in the 70s had the exact same shoe size.
Susie, Sarah. I once read that names which begin with the letter S are the names of snakes.
Okay, good. Good. Now smell her a little.
I'm surprised this scene never became a meme, like my extrovert friends as an introvert, or when you sit next to the homeless on a New York subway, or even Republicans and Democrats. So after about 6 more hours of that, Susie eventually gets bored and goes home.
Do nicely together. I think you're sweet.
Even if I have the name of a snake?
Oh, I was just kidding. Don't tell me you're as touchy as Sarah.
Goddamn bitch snake. But then, boys...
Oh, you didn't have to bring these over here. I could have picked them up myself tomorrow. Don't you want to stay for a while?
No, thanks. I can't. I live at the schools. Got to be back for supper in half an hour.
Just for a minute?
Look, I'm gay, alright? Why do you think I'm in dance school?
Bye.
Eh.
Poor Pat. She liked him a lot. I heard you saw her yesterday evening.
Uh-huh, outside the school.
No, you last saw her running through the woods like a crazy person, and did nothing.
There was so much noise.
God, was she difficult.
She was saying things that made no sense.
She was always arguing, causing trouble.
Secret.
She was always keeping secrets. You couldn't trust her.
Iris.
That's right, she was always poking people in the eye. What a psycho.
She mentioned a flower.
Secret flowers? What's that supposed to mean?
I'll tell you when you're older. 25? Well, then I'll tell you when the script matches your age. We cut to an indescript amount of time later, where it looks like they finally got Susie's bedroom situation squared away.
You can move in today if you like.
But I'd rather stay at Olga's if it's okay.
Doesn't matter to me, my dear, but in your letter of enrollment, you said you'd be boarding at the school.
Yeah, if anybody should be complaining about that, it should be me.
As you wish. If that's what you want, so be it.
I had no idea you were so strong-willed. I see that when you make up your mind about something, nothing will change it for you.
Strong-willed? I was just standing here. She then stumbles onto the cleaning lady and blonde Danny Torrance, which is appropriate because apparently they both have The Shining. Ow! Walking down the hallway now. Every time they play this music, it's during the most mundane shit. Unfortunately, Susie ain't got time for strokes. She's gotta dance. So she heads to practice, being led by the blind piano player. Wow, I didn't realize that was a stereotype until just now.
I feel a little weak. Can I just rest for a second?
Come on, it's an easy step. Now, come along and join the others.
I wish I could say it's unrealistic that the teacher would force her to perform despite being sick, but sadly that's the most realistic part of this movie. Susie can't quite keep up with the choreography, so instead she decides to go with a more interpretive form of dancing. Think less mixed martial arts and more drunken boxing. Well, killed another one. Did I say the rest of you could stop dancing? Susie wakes up sometime later with the staff being forced to waterboard her for science. Which science?
No, you must drink.
So help me God, I will drown you in this pitcher.
My dear madame, do not be concerned, it's nothing. As I've already told the young lady.
Can I go to a hospital? Oh, that stubborn Susie, always prattling on about hospitals, always wants her own way.
You look better already. You've even got color back in your cheeks.
Nah, that's just the 70s lighting again. A cool aspect of this movie is, much like in Breaking Bad, it uses color to show when someone's in danger. In this case, it's a sickly green, for obvious reasons.
But I can't stand to live in a boarding school like a 10-year-old.
They specifically changed the script from children to 20-somethings. I can't play a 10-year-old.
There are a couple of things I know they're bound to notice.
Yeah, they put me on a restricted diet.
And on a restricted diet, they give you wine.
Hey, you're supposed to go through 4 years of dance school, then become an alcoholic. We then cut to a few hours later, where we see Susie's been working on her glorious 70s do since sundown.
Maggots!
This, of course, causes pandemonium in the dormitories. Unfortunately, it seems like something's lurking in the ceiling, so they head to the attic to investigate the source of the decay. German cooking, not even once. So it looks like the girls are out of a dormitory for now, so the boys offer them their beds, platonically, I'm sure. The experience is, let's just say, crusty. I'm gonna be honest, they might as well have taken their chances with the maggots. One cool side effect of changing the ages of the students from 10 to 20 is that now when the teachers insist on sleeping near the students, it comes off as controlling and infantilizing. In order to relax the students, the headmistress turns on the hellish red lighting. Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob. Good night, Satan. This is how you Americans give the bird, yes?
Is that guy hot for you?
Maybe.
That's funny. I heard he was,
Right? I thought he was gay too. So everyone settles in for a long night in their crust cocoons, but it looks like they have a visitor. I'm not exactly scared yet, but if I see an erection, I'm out. The visitor has a very specific brand of snoring. We know this because Susie's friend Sarah is very specific about pointing this out.
She's the directress.
How do you know?
I had someone come in very late and get into bed in the room next to mine. Then I heard this weird kind of snoring. Listen. It's exactly the same.
Where's my NyQuil?
So I know she's the directress. She's here.
And you decided to wake me up at 4 in the morning for this? We then cut to the next day, where it seems like the blind piano player's dog has gotten himself into a bit of trouble. And by a bit of trouble, I of course mean severely maiming a child. The headmistress's nephew, to be precise. Needless to say, he's super fired. The piano player, not the dog. Though I guess he's fired too.
It's impossible. Let's go to the fair. First aid center. Even if you can't see the blood, at least you can hear that poor child's crying.
Whoa, cool it with the blind jokes, lady. That's their thing.
I won't allow such talk, you understand?
You won't allow it. Then get out, you and your dog.
Well, he would, but you threw his cane away, you crazy bitch.
But try to understand that I'm blind, not deaf.
You see, it's okay when he does it.
Not deaf, you understand that? You understand?
このハゲ Do you understand? ハゲじゃない、剃ってるだけ Do you understand?
Well, enough of that dance school drama. It's time to check in with Susie and her recovery.
Pavlos, how much longer do I have to eat like this?
Hey, I'm inbred, not in medical school. Susie drinks the wine and tries to get some sleep, but her friend Sarah has other ideas.
You hear them?
Yes.
So this is what they did before the internet was invented, huh?
I don't think they're leaving the school.
What?
It doesn't seem to me that they're going out. The front door is on the left. Their footsteps are going to the right, somewhere inside the school.
Have you considered that maybe, just maybe, someone has to use the bathroom?
How come I never noticed that before?
As you can tell, Sarah's powers of deduction kind of come and go. She can tell who the directress is by her snoring, but she can't remember which side of the hallway a door is on. Going down the hallway, down the hallway, going down the hallway, down the hall, going down the hallway, down the hallway. So we go down the hallway, down the hall, to reveal they're letting in a draft! We then cut to what Italians think all German people do, which is only slightly kinder than what most Americans think all Italian people do. Ah yes, the slap fight shuffle. I like how the bass player looks completely dead inside. So in other words, he's the bass player. So after a long night of enjoying whatever the hell this is, the blind piano player decides to make his way home. Unfortunately, it seems like his dog can hear the soundtrack kicking on. What is it, boy? Is little Jimmy stuck in the well? Little Jimmy's stuck in hell! Aww, he's devouring his kill. But enough of that boring shit. Susie has acne. Also, she's got something she wants to talk with the headmistress over.
You know that I saw her the night that I arrived here,
Yes, you told me that.
and that she was mumbling some strange, unrelated word.
No, you didn't tell me that.
Well, it's a good thing you brought it up 2 weeks after the police have already left.
I only caught two words distinctly. Secret and irises.
I don't know what the word secret or irises mean either.
Oh, well, a secret is something that's kept or meant to be kept unknown or unseen by others. An iris is the part of your eye that the conversation literally provides Susie with more questions than answers, so instead she goes to Sarah for advice.
I was Pat's friend. She was telling me something when you suddenly showed up. Remember that voice when you rang the bell? Well, that was me.
Oh. You mean the one that wouldn't let me in? Even though it was fucking freezing outside? Wow. Thanks, bitch. Unfortunately, judging by the camera angles here, it seems that they've been being watched by one of the members of the staff, so it seems like young Sarah's day is numbered.
Susie, wake up! The notes are gone. Someone stole them from me.
And Susie sips her boozy, so she's out cold for the night.
Susie, do you know anything about witches?
I know they make one hell of a cocktail. Nighty-night. Oh, I get it. They're in the green room. Man, they take color symbolism pretty seriously in this movie, don't they? On the bright side, Christmas colors. So the hunt is on, with Sarah being chased by a mysterious figure throughout the school. Stop calling me that! This movie repeats that one line more than a parrot singing the chorus to Inagata Vita inside of a snake digesting itself on Happy Ground's Death Edge of Tomorrow. Day. Eventually, having nowhere else to go, she's forced to hide out in the attic. Well, the music stopped, so it looks like she's safe for the time being. Oh, nope, never mind. A shocked and startled Sarah secures herself into a spare side room, so it looks like she's finally cornered. There's only one thing that can save her now, and that's valve puzzles.
I hate valve puzzles.
So Sarah does valve puzzles, and it actually looks like she's about to escape. Unfortunately, she stumbled into the barbed wire room. Haven't we all at some point? I didn't know making barbed wire was a thing that came with witchcraft. What do you have to do to get to the pantry? Traverse the magic minefield? So Sarah's dead. The faculty come up with a somewhat flimsy cover story about how Sarah got up in the morning and just left, without saying a single thing to anybody, especially not the authorities.
She was here leaving about 6. You heard her leave, didn't you?
Sarah? Oh, yes.
Susie decides to go see Sarah's friend she mentioned earlier. Oh wait, I forgot to mention that part again.
I've only told one person. A very good friend of mine. Frank Mandel. He's here for convention.
See? There you go. On the 6th meeting in New Studies in Psychiatry and Psychology.
I know her quite well. She was a patient of mine 3 years ago. Were you aware of that?
No, I didn't even know you were a psychiatrist.
You didn't think anything was up when you met at the 6th meeting on New Studies in Psychiatry and Psychology? That would have been a clue for me.
She had discovered that the Tam Academy was founded in 1895 by a certain Helena Marcos, and that the local people believed her to be a witch. I guess you knew that.
No, but I have a strange feeling that somebody already told me about it.
No wonder she didn't realize he's a psychiatrist. She's just bad at listening. He then goes a bit into the backstory about the dance academy.
At first, a sort of school of dance and occult sciences, but that didn't last long. That among the initiated, she went by the name the Black Queen.
She was Sammy Davis Jr.?
After being hounded and cursed at for 10 years, Madame Marcus died in a fire. Professor Milius can answer your question better than I can. Excuse me. Milius?
Well, the nutcase is your problem now.
Do you believe in the existence of witches?
I've studied the phenomenon for a long time. I'm of the opinion that it is an important appendage of contemporary psychiatry.
Ah yes, the study of witchcraft. The first thing your therapist will ask when you tell them about your problems. Are you sure it's not witches?
Their goal is to accumulate great personal wealth, but that can only be achieved by injury to others. They can cause suffering, sickness, and even the death of those who, for whatever reason, have offended them.
So, the school is run by Karens? That makes too much sense. And actually explains why Susie in particular has been targeted this whole film. Especially seeing as her conceited arrogance when she turned down the generous offer from the school is probably what started this whole mess to begin with.
I had no idea you were so strong-willed.
A woman becomes queen if her magic is 100 times more powerful than the rest of the coven, which is like a serpent. Its strength rests with its leader. A coven deprived of its leader is like a headless cobra, harmless.
You're not really a psychiatrist, are you? I live in a bowling alley. Okay, so for some reason after learning this, Susie heads back to the school, but at least now she's deciding, hey, maybe we don't drink the ambiguous sleepy syrup tonight. As hopeful as things are starting to look now, it turns out the school's mysteriously vacant.
Excuse me, where is everybody?
They have all gone to the theater for the opening of the Bolshoi.
Then why didn't anyone tell me about it?
They did, you just don't listen to anyone. At least Susie's finally starting to suspect that something's up, so she dumps her food down the toilet and all her wine down the sink. I think I spot a metaphor. Someone's becoming a woman. It's about time too. She's 24 and still lives in a boarding school. And hey, remember that window jump scare from the beginning of the movie? Well, here's a slightly less scary version of that.
Oh, hi. Looks like I've stumbled into your boudoir. Do you mind directing me out? No, see, that's a sheet. You just put a sheet on me. Sounds like you're lifting something heavy. Do you need help with that?
PETA? Hello? So while Susie's having a long smoke to think about what she's done, she finally pieces together what Sarah's been implying since the beginning of the movie.
They don't leave the school at all. The front door is on the left, but their footsteps are going to the right.
Hello? Has anyone seen my pet bat, which I love and cherish? He's a cancer survivor, and I don't know if I could live without him. So Susie decides to check out the ominous-looking red doors at the end of the hall. Yeah, that could be a good spot to start looking. Susie moves deeper into the witch's lair. She follows the sound of laughter into the kitchens, where it looks like these witches are clearly on a first-name basis with Puff the Magic Dragon. So Susie circumvents the stoners with stealth. Think it's time to transfer schools. Okay, I'm actually done now. Wait a second. Walls aren't supposed to glow like this. I mean, they do in this movie, but, you know. And it's here that Pat's warning becomes all too clear.
A secret! I saw behind the door! 3 irises! Turn the blue one!
Okay, I'm glad this advice is coming in handy now, but she could have at least opened with, oh my god, this school is witches, that's my least favorite thing, oh my god, 2 stars on Yelp. So Susie turns the iris, grabs the clover key, and finds the missing shotgun on the 2nd floor, before venturing deeper into the witch's lair, stumbling on the teaching staff doing a ritual, to turn the freaking frogs gay, I'm sure.
We must get rid of that bitch of an American girl. She must die. Die! Die!
I have nothing to add here. This acting is perfect.
Death! Death! Death!
Ah! Death!
That's only the cat.
Oh. Ah! Death!
That's Maggie again, Grandpa.
Oh, where were we?
Sickness! Away with her! Away with trouble!
Huh. I have diabetes now. So while Susie's getting down with the sickness, in order to see a doctor, she first has to survive this encounter. We finally get to see what happened to Sarah. And hey, has she done something with her hair? Susie almost gets caught by Sloth from the Goonies, so she retreats even further into the witch's lair, where she stumbles onto the final boss.
Who is it? Who's there? I've been expecting you. You want to kill me? You want to kill Elena Marcus?
Actually, I'm just looking for the bathroom. Susie tries to skewer her with a sewing needle, but Elena Marcos has active camo. And oh hey, it's the best part of the movie. Quick, hit her with the chair. Of course, the psychedelic lighting will show me the way. So Susie stabs at the outline, revealing that Helena Marcos was a deadite this whole time.
Swallow this.
The death of the head witch inadvertently sets off the school's self-destruct button. So seeing as the dance industry is run by horrible witches, Susie decides to take up tennis. Well, looks like this is the police's problem now. Oh, I've been watching Suspiria, huh? And here I thought I put on Dance Death Revolution. Mario Mix! The danciest and most revolting of dance games. And also Mario. You can play as Waluigi doing the Harlem Shake. So that was Suspiria, and wow, what a mixed bag. Before I get murdered in the comments section, let's start with the good stuff. This melody's in your head, will be stuck there till you're dead. Do I even need to mention the soundtrack? Even if you haven't watched the film, you probably know it by heart at this point. Everything about the music in this movie is super over the top, and you know what? It's better for it. You want subtle? This ain't it. Let me tell you a little anecdote about this soundtrack. Back in high school, about once a week during every Wednesday, they gave us a free hour for study hall. This was the soundtrack that I would put on to fall asleep to. Okay, bad compliment, but still. I think I might have actually listened to this soundtrack hundreds of times at this point. I've seen the movie itself six times. That's not to say the soundtrack's the only positive thing about it, but my god, what a soundtrack. As I mentioned before, the production also does a lot of heavy lifting when it comes to the film's tone. All of the sets look huge, and I don't mean like grand or sweeping, they just seem a bit bigger than they should be. This is my own personal theory, so don't come quoting me on this. I think when Dario Argento realized he wasn't going to be able to show kids getting mutilated and murdered on screen for entertainment in the year of our Lord 1977, he had all the sets made bigger to compensate. You know, to psychologically make you think of the actors as children. I don't know, it's just my own personal theory, and it could just be the way they designed the sets, but that's just the vibe I'm getting. The style for the architecture in this movie somehow is tacky and mundane, but also gaudy and over the top at the same time. Either way, tone is the name of the game here, even if the script is somewhat lacking. This movie's script is the kids bop of 70s horror movies, in that it was written by kids, for kids, and then you have those first 10 minutes of the movie. Okay, you know the first 10 minutes of Up, it's a completely different movie. I mean, it does a good job of setting up the plot and everything, don't get me wrong, but was it really necessary to include this in the movie? No, but it's also easily the best part of the film, so don't cut it out, please. Same concept here. I say this in the nicest and best of possible ways. If the first 10 minutes of Suspiria were not in the movie, if you just cut that part out, cut out the haunted hotel, cut out the two characters getting murdered in the beginning and everything, nobody would be talking about Suspiria today. And yes, I will stand by that statement. Like, the rest of the movie is good, don't get me wrong. It's got problems, but it's good. But holy sh**, that first 10 minutes though, and the lighting, oh my god, the lighting. I would be quite shocked if the lighting for this movie didn't end up inspiring Silent Hill 2 a few decades down the line. Yeah, the acting isn't always there, but it was the 70s, what are you gonna do? You've watched Star Wars a billion times with Carrie Fisher switching her accent in every other scene.
I recognized your foul stench when I was brought on board.
Charming.
A little short for a stormtrooper.
Huh?
It's not a deal breaker, let's put it that way. And when I was summing up the movie, I don't think I gave enough credit to the death scenes, and by that token, the actors portraying them. Like, I don't know how you direct flail around in the barbed wire pit like a stuck pig, while your character absolutely loses their mind and panics, wrapping herself even further into the barbed wire in her confusion. But the actress who played Sarah did a pretty good job. Also, the Sarah zombie. This thing is one of the creepiest designs I've seen for a monster in a movie. Maybe it's because we spent the entire movie actually getting to know Sarah, so it's more shocking seeing her being turned into a voodoo zombie rather than if they had used a random extra. And the fact that they stuck pins in their eyes isn't hurting the psychological impression either. I mean, look at this thing. Just look at this thing. Also, the fact that it laughs at Susie with the voice of Helena Marcos. Thought that was a nice little detail as well. They really went all out with the character design here. It's unfortunate that this movie's pacing seems to have bipolar disorder, given how it's, you know, all over the fucking place. It feels like Helena Marcos is just thrown into this movie so that Susie can have a villain to overcome. Whereas throughout the entire movie, I kind of felt like the Dance Academy was the main villain the whole time. Let's see, is there anything important I forgot? Oh, that's right, the color red. The most important of all the colors. Apparently something like 90% of the shots in this movie contain the color red, because red is the color of your blood. Blag. Seriously though, I'm not gonna go into color composition analysis here. This video is taking long enough to get out already. I just thought that was a neat thing to bring up. What I can safely say at the end of this review is that Suspiria is definitely a film. We good? We fine? We all good here? Well, it's that time of the year again, isn't it? A time for love, a time for laughs, a time for souls, your souls to be precise, because the gaping maw of the YouTube algorithm is hungry, and it requires souls, subscriber souls. The maw needs soul to fill that hole. Please subscribe. I can't feed my cat spaghetti anymore because of this. The next video on this channel will be Ultramarines. In case you guys were wondering where my Warhammer content has been for the past 4 months, there you go. I didn't expect the video to take this long to come out, but it did, so